High in the frozen wilderness of Yakutia, one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth, a 90-year-old woman named Ayana lived alone on the tundra with nothing but her snow sheep, her stilt house cabin, and a lifetime of hard-earned survival wisdom. For decades, she had survived blizzards, frozen rivers, and endless dark winters. But nothing compared to the night she faced the impossible, when nearly 1,000 wolves closed in on her land during one of the deadliest storms Yakutia had seen in years. The day began quietly. Snow drifted gently across the barren white horizon, and Ayana moved slowly from sheep to sheep, checking hooves, brushing frost from their wool, and guiding them toward the sheltered side of her enclosure. Her flock was her only family, the last legacy of her ancestors who had lived on this land for generations. She whispered to them as she worked, her voice cracked but warm, her hands steady despite her age. But as sunset approached, she felt something shift in the air, an old instinct she had learned never to ignore. Wolves. At first, she heard only a distant howl carried by the rising wind, then another, and another. By the time the sun disappeared behind a curtain of swirling snow, the howls multiplied into a chilling chorus that rolled across the valley like thunder. Ayana climbed the wooden ladder to her elevated stilt house and scanned the darkness. What she saw made her blood run cold. The shimmering reflection of countless eyes, hundreds, maybe 1,000 moving with purpose, tightening their circle around her sheep. The blizzard struck at the same moment the wolves advanced, turning the world into a storm of ice, wind, and predators. Most people would have fled, but Ayana stood her ground. She knew that if she abandoned her sheep, the wolves would slaughter them in minutes. So she sparked her fire pit, tossing in dry larch branches until flames roared high into the storm. Fire was her oldest ally. Its glow kept the nearest wolves at bay, but dozens remained lurking in the shadows. Then came the moment she feared, a break in the circle. 3 wolves darted toward the enclosure. Ayana grabbed her old rifle, heavy, rusted, but still powerful, and fired a warning shot into the air. The crack echoed across the tundra like lightning splitting the sky. The wolves scattered, but only for seconds. The blizzard howled harder, burying her footprints and shaking the wood beneath her. She lit more torches, tossing them into the snow one by one until a flickering wall of fire surrounded the sheep pen. Her hands ached from the cold, numb, and stiff, but she didn't stop. She moved between fire, rifle, and sheep with the fierce determination of someone who had lived her entire life in a land that tried to freeze you, break you, or bury you. Even at 90, she refused to surrender. Hours passed. The wolves tested her defenses again and again. She chased them back with fire, with shouts, with rifle shots that echoed into the endless night. At one point the wind blew out half her torches and the pack surged forward. Ayana dropped to her knees in the snow, striking flint with trembling hands until sparks caught flame. Fire returned. The wolves retreated. Finally, as dawn pushed through the blizzard's remains, the pack began to disperse. Exhausted and frostbitten, Ayana leaned against her railing, watching as the last pair of glowing eyes vanished into the white distance. She had done it. Her sheep were alive, her home was still standing, and she, 90 years old, alone and unyielding, had survived a battle most people wouldn't even believe. Later that morning, she gathered fresh wool from her sheep and warmed herself by the hearth. The storm was over. Calm returned. The tundra was silent again, but Ayana knew one truth better than anyone. Strength doesn't come from age, weapons, or numbers. It comes from the heart of someone who refuses to give up even when the night brings 1,000 wolves to their door. If you enjoyed this epic survival story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more dramatic tales of wilderness, resilience, and courage.